Hey guys, check out NowThatI'mOlder.com every Thursday for a brand new episode of the podcast, Now That I'm Older. It's a show about how getting older sucks but can be awesome at the exact same time with your host Shane Smith.
Woo! Wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun,
And Ken Baldwin.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
We talk about things that happened to us when we were younger. We talk about some random news stories, and we basically just sit around and shoot the shit. So check out NowThatI'mOlder.com every Thursday for a brand new episode. Thanks a lot.
You thought this was the Powerful Nerdcast, but actually it was me, Dio, Kono Dioda! Hello, my friends, welcome to the Powerful Nerdcast. I am Corey, and joined with me, as always, is Christian.
Hello, Internet. We have so many things to talk about. The world of nerdom is busy.
To say the frigging least.
We got like Spider-Man Homecoming. We got all this new anime coming out. We got the Transformers trailer to talk about or shit on. I don't know, whichever direction you lean in.
I'm going to go for the latter.
There's no one that's just like, they're all right. You're pretty decided on that. And then, of course, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer, which came out, and Rogue One.
Not to mention just an assload of anime is coming in 2017.
I mean, that could be a whole podcast, to be honest.
It really could. But let's go ahead and open with the movie trailers, just because there's been so many lately, and let's start on a positive note. Let's start on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So before we even go into this trailer, like, what are your thoughts? I know we've talked about it before, like, your stance on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, well, first of all, it's one of the most fun superhero movies, because they're not super serious, and the serious characters are almost so juxtaposed, the goofy characters, that they seem goofy. You know, like they almost seem out of place when you're too serious in that universe. The other thing, obviously the soundtrack is amazing in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
And it's a well-thought soundtrack. Like, they're not just like, you know what, let's just try to pull from like a pantheon of really popular songs a la Suicide Squad, where they don't make any goddamn sense as to why they're placed in the movie whatsoever. There was real thought put into it, so much so that it adds so much character to the movie, to the point where I'd say the music is its very own character in that film.
Speaking of characters, that's one of the other things they do really well. Ton of characters, and no one feels like underdeveloped, no one feels out of place, and the bad guys are interesting, and you have Thanos like right there. It's not like Thanos is like not known, but everyone knows he's going to be the bad guy. Like in Guardians, Thanos is like right there. I mean, his adopted daughter is one of the Guardians. You know,
he's not just relegated to being a post-credit scene. They put him front and center.
Yeah,
they give him some cool dialogue, which I still love that line where he's intimidating. I think what is it, Ronan the Accuser?
Yes,
and he's like, "I will bathe the starways in your blood." Like, that's just fucking metal, man.
That's a very intense way to say he's probably not going to survive to next week. You know?
Damn right.
It's a very intense way to say that.
But, like, what was your, like, knowledge of the Guardians before even seeing that movie?
Non-existent.
Like, non-existent. I'd say that's the case for a lot of people.
Yes.
Even I was like, who the fuck are these guys? Like, I'd seen Rocket Raccoon a couple of times, mostly because he made a few cameo appearances in some of the comics that I've looked at, but mostly because he was a playable character. A lot of people forget about this. Rocket Raccoon is playable in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, which was such a strange choice, but, you know, that's what they love to do with those games. Speaking of which, they just announced the next game in the series, by the way. But that's beside the point.
I don't even know if we have time to talk about it.
We do not have time, and there's not enough to even really say. It's just, it's a teaser at best. But yeah, Rocket was in that game, and that was sort of like my first real introduction to who he was, and they only included him and no other members of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then they started to make this brand new movie, and I don't think anybody knew what to expect from it, because one, they're so, you know, they're only really well known to the hardcore Marvel comic book fans, and even the current lineup of the Guardians of the Galaxy, like, this was not the original lineup from the original Guardians series. These guys had only been around as a group for just a couple of years before they even decided to do this movie, and I'd say it was kind of a gamble to do that, but I'll be damned if it didn't work, because even after all these Marvel movies and all the big post-credit scenes and then the connections between all of them and just seeing the classic characters, the Guardians have obviously been the best. I mean, they're the most refreshing, it's the most interesting concept, the fact that it's not not set on Earth alone already makes it interesting, and arguably is what I think makes it the best out of all of them. It is connected to the other Marvel movies, but they stand alone a lot more.
That's grounded in reality, but at the same time, like, fantasy, space travel fantasy. Like, and it works. It really does. And the other thing is Chris Pratt being the lead guy is like, he's the best of everything. He's almost like Tony Stark and Captain America together. He's got
I'd say he's more, I wouldn't say he's book smart. He's definitely a little more on the street smart side of things.
Yes.
I mean, he's not like your typical hero at all, though, which is why it was good to get Chris Pratt, what was Chris Pratt in? Wasn't he on a TV show?
Parks and Rec. That was it. He did I call Parks and Rec Office 2. Like, it has the very same style of humor. I have a feeling it was made by the same people. Mm-hmm. And it's good. Parks and Rec is good. But damn it, The Office is better. If you feel differently, please leave a comment down in the section below on YouTube.
Well, I know you're obsessed with The
Office. Just hits me in the feels, man. I grew up on The Office. Mm-hmm. I have watched The Office. I've rewatched all the seasons like twice, and I don't rewatch things very often. I really don't.
I'm just a super casual fan. Like, I don't even go out of my way to watch it if it's on.
No. No.
Like, if it's on and it looks okay, I might watch it for a couple seconds, but I can't ever recall a moment where I've just from beginning to end watched an episode of The Office.
That's what she said.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So anyway,
going back to Guardians.
So Chris Pratt is awesome as the lead, but you could easily make the argument that he's not even the lead. It just, the story starts with him, and his group is really the main character.
Yeah.
And I like it that way. And that's hard to fucking pull off.
Yeah, and I mean, the first movie was basically just establishing those characters, who they are, where they're from, and hopefully the second movie is going to expand on it greatly. It is worth mentioning that this teaser doesn't really give anything away.
Not story-wise.
It's basically just like, hey, here are your favorite characters again, and they're fucking crazy. So, let's just take a look at the trailer for a second.
Okay, I need to pull it out.
What was your favorite thing from the trailer? Or do you have a favorite member of the Guardians group?
I don't.
It's hard to in many ways that's probably a better answer. That shows how interesting they all are in their own way, and I'm kind of with you on that one. I can't decide. They're all so interesting in their own way.
Don't get me wrong. Groot's great.
Yeah.
He's funny. He's a good, simple, good guy character.
Yeah, but he's complemented so well by Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, who just wants to blow everything up.
And Rocket Raccoon's interactions with Star-Lord are great.
Yep.
And Star-Lord's interactions are amazing with freaking Gamora. And let's face it, at the end of the day, Drax the Destroyer is probably, to me, the funniest member of the group.
Yeah.
And unintentionally so.
He's almost like, I guess because his species is different, I've heard him compared with a person with Asperger's that just doesn't understand social cues. But obviously I'm not trying to say his Asperger's because he's not a human.
Yeah.
His species doesn't understand sarcasm.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. This is not it. This is
no, you want to go to that one right there with little Baby Groot.
Baby Groot, of course they made that the thumbnail.
They know how to market the Groot thing. Groot became such a huge character after the first movie.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're going to keep Groot small for 90% of the movie, but I bet he does grow at the end.
Probably at the end he's going to become normal Groot again.
Yeah. Drax the Destroyer is probably my least favorite character, though, just because he is his character and the way he handles social situations is obviously very funny, but him being a warrior and whatnot, just being the strong guy that's good with knives, it's kind of boring. And speaking of boring characters, I also think the assassin is also kind of boring.
Gamora?
Gamora, yeah.
Well, what do you got against green people, Christian?
I don't. Once you go green, you never go back. I don't know.
I admit I wasn't a very big fan of Gamora originally, but after watching the first movie a couple times, I love the whole group just for.
I love the group, but I could find flaws with individual characters, So, but yeah, Gamora's cool,
she's fighting against a giant hentai. I love this scene where Drax is I think he's been swallowed by some sort of giant space monster.
Yeah,
and he's just stabbing continuously, and he looks like he's really enjoying himself.
Yeah, he's just I'm going to fight my way out. And of course, the hilarious scene at the end where Star-Lord gets called out because the Asian tentacle monster decides to tell him that he's in love with Gamora. Or is it Gamora?
You just combined 3 parts of the trailer.
No, I did not. She has tentacles.
The Asian tentacle monster.
She has tentacles.
Actually, she's an important character from the comics as well. Her name is Mantis.
Mantis.
Yeah, she's this was probably my favorite part of the trailer, mostly for Drax's reaction to it. Where it's just like, he has this like super loud, stupid, boisterous laugh. He's just like, you just gave away your darkest secret! It's just, his reaction is so perfect.
And I love how he's like, do me next, you know?
You should be so embarrassed! He's so blunt about things that it's just, you kind of have to just take it for what it is.
Which is fine, because that's what his character is. Again, I think his personality is hugely more interesting than his actual character of just being the warrior that wants to run around and stab people. Yeah. You know, I think his personality is actually very interesting.
My favorite line is when he's on his knees and like screaming into the sky. He's like, "Screw you, spaceship!"
That is hilarious.
But the trailer, like, it gives away like nothing, but it's still like, this is, I think, a great example of a really good trailer. Basically, it's just a reintroduction to the characters where they are now, and clearly they're in some sort of big conflict. I mean, the opening of the trailer, like when they're fighting against that monster, like, my theory is like that's probably the beginning of the movie. Like,
here's catching up with them now.
Yeah, it's just like, fuck it, let's just watch them like beat the shit out of like a giant alien monster or something, and just reestablish who the characters are, what their powers are, and just watch them go buck wild for a little bit.
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be a great
boom, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
And then cut to Thanos and keep it moving,
Yeah, I don't even think Thanos is gonna I mean, if he is gonna be in the movie, it's gonna be like the last one where he just has a small speaking role.
Yeah, because we gotta get through Thor Ragnarok before we get to Infinity Wars coming hardcore.
Which we're getting there. Little by little, we are getting there.
Have they started filming Thor Ragnarok yet? I don't even know that. I bet I could Google it.
I'm not sure yet. I mean, I'm sure they're getting on it. They have to be at this point. Especially because, I mean, they are making headway on this Spider-Man movie. Like, I mean, he just appeared recently in the Captain America movie, but I mean, that kid must have just been filming this movie for so long, not to mention, I'm sure he's going to be appearing in the Infinity War films.
Oh, yeah, of course. By the time they get to Infinity Wars, everyone's going to be there. I'm just excited that we get a Thor Hulk movie. I think that's going to be the coolest thing.
If anything, I think that was probably the smartest decision they could have made because, Thor is awesome, but I think of all the Marvel characters, I think those movies are the least successful. Not so much due to the actors or anything. It's just, I don't know. I just don't think Thor is, latched on to people as much as they want it to. And if anything, we'll get to see Thor in a fucking helmet for once.
Yep. And it looks like the Hulk is going to wear this, like, Roman-esque, like the large mohawk feather thing,
hell yeah. Like a big Spartan helmet.
He looks very much like World War Hulk.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what they're going for. Like
it's not that story.
Yeah, it's not the same story, but they're drawing allusions to it at least, which... That would be a cool movie. I mean, there's no doubt it would be awesome to just have a movie where Hulk is in space on this, like, warrior planet in gladiatorial combat. So that would be really awesome. I'd love that. But yeah, I love the look of Hulk in the movie.
Yeah, it's going to be good. We didn't even mean to talk about Thor Ragnarok, but it looks good, and I'm excited about it. I mean, they even have, like, trailers. They even have, like, a poster out. No Majordan? How do you say his hammer?
That's his hammer. Mjolnir.
Yeah. Mjolnir. I cannot say that word. Anyway, it's going to be interesting. Ragnarok's going to be great, but I feel like Ragnarok is the big transition into Infinity Wars. I may be wrong about that. I know I saw a diagram that explained how they were going to get there.
When you got to get a fucking diagram to explain this shit, maybe that's a problem. Because we haven't even seen Doctor Strange yet.
No, I'm probably going to wait till that one comes out on do you say DVD anymore? Because no one buys those. Comes out on
I buy
Netflix.
Anime DVDs.
Oh, yeah, well... That's different. That's a niche thing.
I occasionally buy Blu-ray.
Yeah, but you could just... I'm not going to lie, Corey. I know you like physical things, but now that I own this Chappelle Show on Amazon, like I used my... now that I have Amazon Prime, and I went and... there's a lot of great movies. Apocalypse Now is free on Amazon. That's the only place I found it online. And I watched half of Apocalypse Now last night, which is a slow fucking movie.
Yeah, it is.
I fell asleep halfway through and paused it, and I said, I'll watch the rest of this later.
Was it called Apocalypse Now Redux?
No, it was not the one with 49 minutes extra added.
Okay.
I made a choice up front not to watch that one, because I was like, I can't. And also, the war movies nowadays are so intense that movie was probably really shocking back in the day, when they pull over the fishing boat full of people and then they end up shooting all of them, and then they realize they were just freaking out because they had a puppy and they didn't want the soldiers to see it.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, That's in every war movie now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like so desensitized, like the theater of war, that these people are seeing and absorbing, is like not that shocking to me anymore, in film. But I'm sure at the time, Apocalypse Now was like a powerful movie,
I still think it is a pretty powerful film.
Haven't got to the second half yet, so I can't really talk.
It's the ending and everything's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Especially when she gets to get more scenes with Marlon Brando and everything.
He's just this illusion. He's like a shadow, in the beginning of the film when they're just building him up, and there's the quotes and the classified paperwork. What's his name is reading through the whole time. What's that actor's name that's looking for him? I forgot.
Oh shit! I'd have to look that up.
Definitely Watner. Is it that guy? It's not that guy.
Here, let me look this shit up. Apocalypse Now.
Okay, if you guys don't know what Apocalypse Now is, it's a story about a guy it takes place in Vietnam and the Vietnam conflict, and a guy who's suffering from heavy PTSD, who's like a spy for the CIA, gets sent in to kill a general that went AWOL and decided to like kill some South Vietnamese that were on our side that he thought were double agents. And he was probably right because they were double agents, but everyone's pissed that he's just doing whatever he wants. So they sent a guy in to kill him, and he has to like go find him. Yeah. And it's intense, this war movie. There's dudes dead everywhere. Guys are laughing while they're shooting people because they're so desensitized. This is dark shit.
But was it Martin Sheen?
Martin Sheen, yeah. Is he? He's not Raymond. No.
Wait. It's Raymond.
Yeah. No, who is? I got to look this up.
I know. I haven't looked at it.
I'm sorry, you guys. I know we're Googling while we're doing this, but
I'm just looking at the cast and remembering. God, there were a lot of huge fucking actors in this movie.
Dude,
Martin Sheen, Marlon
Harrison
Brando,
Ford was in the beginning of it.
Robert Duvall, fucking Lawrence Fishburne, Dennis Hopper,
young as shit. Lawrence Fishburne, like skinny, like you've never seen him that skinny before.
Pre-Cowboy Curtis,
pre-Cowboy.
Any excuse to bring up fucking Cowboy Curtis, I will. Arlie Ermey is a helicopter pilot.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of these guys who just
Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
Wow, that guy was so young in that movie.
Yeah,
everyone was young in that movie, though. Robert Duvall. What was he doing in that movie? I don't even recognize him in that. What was he? Was he...
Robert Duvall played Lieutenant Colonel William Bill Kilgore.
Is this him?
God, I can't tell.
These
it
guys
might be. That was.
Wow, everyone's so skinny.
Yeah, that's
no one
Duvall.
has double chins or anything like I recognize them now for.
Yeah, I think Duvall had just finished working on Godfather 1 and 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, Apocalypse Now is like film history.
Robert Duvall's still kicking, man. That dude's a classic fucking actor.
Yeah, he ain't quitting. So, this is just a good movie. Long, though.
Yeah.
Old movies don't give a fuck about modern attention spans.
No, well, that's because they didn't have to worry about that shit back in the day. Everybody now has to look at their phone every 5 seconds. And
yeah, like, when you go and watched a movie back then, that was like... You had 4 fucking channels at your house, and then you go in to go see that movie, and you were excited, and that's all you did is pay attention to that movie.
That's why a lot of younger generation people they don't like watching older movies, and they especially don't like watching black and white movies.
You think Guardians of the Galaxy is going to go more than 5 seconds without a joke or an action scene?
Fuck no.
No.
Every 2 seconds, Rocket and Groot's going to be saying something. Then you got Star-Lord who's making a joke. I mean, those movies, though, but the beauty of Guardians, though, I don't think it would work in that way anyway, but just because there's so much shit always going on in the background and all types of stuff. Like, every time I watch Guardians, I notice something I've never seen before.
Yeah, that's true.
But, like, if I watch, like, an old black and white movie, to me, it's just always the same thing.
That makes sense.
Give or take. I mean, it depends. There are some black and white movies which I think are pretty damn intense. But yeah, I do agree. Yeah, a lot of older movies, they didn't have to pander too much. They told their story at their own damn pace. That's
Absolutely.
why a lot of people have problems getting through. Like you said, you fell asleep during Apocalypse Now. There's some people who say watching The Godfather is really tough.
I bet it is, and I don't mean it because it's a bad movie. But if you aren't like awake and ready for it, you can't glance at these old movies. Like, you have to sit there and get into it. I
mean, the first 40 minutes of The Godfather is in one location. It's at a wedding. It just goes on and on and on. But it sets up all the characters, though. You get to know all of them within that span of time and know where they are, where they're coming, and probably where they're going to be going by the end of the film. Which, have you seen Godfather yet?
No, still I've never seen it.
Whew, you need to see it. It's good. Watch the first 2, skip the third.
I really probably just want to watch the first one. And be
the
done
second
with it.
one's better.
Really?
Yeah, but they're very different. Like the first movie is about the Modern Family. The second movie is a sequel, but also half of the movie is a prequel as well, all about Don Corleone younger, who's played by Robert De Niro in the second one. And they're both very fucking good. Just they're so different in their own way.
Brando, I just don't know his body of work. I just know of him. You know, like, I need to watch more of his stuff.
Marlon Brando, fucking Stanley Kowalski.
Yeah. Whatever.
Streetcar Named Desire. Stella!
No idea what you're referencing, but I assume.
You're not a fan of Tennessee Williams?
Nope. Don't know it.
No? Playwright?
Nope.
You've never heard or read Streetcar Named Desire?
Nope.
You never did that in school?
Nope.
Wow. Okay, well.
I'm uneducated. I'm uncultured.
Wow, okay. Well, it's good.
I'll check it out. Out. Marlon Brando. Talk about old school baller. Like, that dude probably had so much money. I heard he had an island.
I heard he was also really hard to work with.
Yeah, like, because he's like the original, like, Hollywood, whatever. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm not even going to learn my lines. Just hold up cue cards next to the camera.
And where the fuck is my cheese Danish? That was supposed to be a cheese Danish right here.
Yeah.
And he walks off set for like 2 days.
Yeah. You're like, I guess we're done with that.
Yeah. I mean, he was a big guy. You're not going to see people like that in fucking Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, you're
Which,
not.
again, in the sequel, like, they pretty much just show the main cast for the most part. Like, I couldn't tell you who the villain of the next movie is going to be, or I really couldn't even tell you what the fucking plot's going to be. I know it's going to involve Star-Lord's dad, who I think is going to have some sort of connection to, what's his name? Not Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze's dead.
CGI, man. They'll bring him back.
No, it's, you remember, God, I cannot, I'm going to have to look this shit up now. This is driving me insane.
That's why we got the internet, though. We don't have to
I know.
guess. We don't have to guess. You guys might not like that we Google shit during the show, but I promise it is going to make it a better show. It's important. Okay, Star-Lord's dad.
Star-Lord's dad. I'm pinpointing it as we speak. And
it's Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. There
It's
we
Snake.
go. Fucking yeah, that's what I was thinking of, like Escape from New York.
Yeah.
He's going to be in it, and it's hard to say if you even see him in the trailer, but we're also going to get to see the return of a few other characters as well, like that one that we were talking about, that new character Mantis, played by some woman whose name I don't even think I'm going to try to pronounce. Palm Clementif, I think. I don't know.
That sounds like a made-up name or badly
It does
pronounced.
sound like, yeah, it's probably bad. Let's see, what's his name from the first one? Michael Rooker. He's coming back as Yondu.
Is that the guy with the mohawk, the golden mohawk?
Yeah.
That actor is great. I will tell you some
he's
of my...
not who I would have chosen for Yondu, though, but like he's definitely putting his own spin on the character.
Well, I also have to say, I thought he was one of the best parts of The Walking Dead, and when he got killed off, I was very sad.
Yeah.
You know? Like, he was one of the best parts.
Daryl had to kill him, right?
Yep, Daryl had to stab him in the face.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
And then everyone made fun of Daryl's cry face and said it looked like Dawson Creek. And I was like, really, guys? Like, Dawson Creek cry face. There it is. Okay. There it is.
Wow.
Okay, you see that?
Yeah, that image is pretty famous.
Now, how do we... I'm going to write Daryl Walking Dead cry face.
Okay, it kind of does, actually. I'm not going to lie.
It's pretty darn close. That's why everyone's like...
Like, you put that image and you set it up to, I don't want to wait. Like, it's...
I wonder if there's a mix-up. I'm sure there's like
there has to be. There's no way they had to have done that. I'm just surprised people still remember Dawson's Creek was a thing.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
That was big back in the day.
Yeah. It's a shame. I don't see any comparison photos, but I'm sure I read an article. Oh, here it is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they look similar, man. They do look similar. I don't know. Maybe Norman Reedus when he cries. I don't know.
Norman Reedus looks Asian when he's crying.
I was about to say, he looks like a crying Asian woman.
He looks like a 50-year-old Asian woman.
I mean, you saw the very first trailer they did for Hideo Kojima's brand new game, Death Stranding, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, look at Norman Reedus in there. He's got the same exact face when he's like crying with the baby in his hands.
The baby.
I didn't even intend to do that. It just...
I know. I didn't even intend to reference that.
We've been saying that so much.
Yeah. We're referencing an episode of South Park when the lice had to save themselves, and he was doing it for the baby. We reference things that even our own nerdy audience doesn't know. So we were talking about Guardians.
We were, but we always go off on our own tangents and somehow got to Apocalypse Now. But did you have a favorite scene from the trailer from Guardians?
I have favorite scenes. Obviously, the Baby Groot stuff was good. That also made me understand that Baby Groot's going to be useful, because I was concerned that that character was just going to be a cute thing, running around in the background.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely going to be selling some merch.
Yeah. And then obviously the ending where Star-Lord gets embarrassed. So
that's definitely my favorite part, is watching Drax, Dave Bautista, just give just the reaction he gives. I don't know what it is. It comes across as like really cheesy and almost like bad, like in terms of the acting, but that's what I like about it.
Well, that's also that character.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he's so blunt, like in this like weird way, and it just, I don't know, I just found that really damn funny.
I also remember, I keep bringing it back to autism and Asperger's, but like I remember that community was really enthralled by that character, because they're like, oh, they're giving someone that doesn't understand social cues like a spotlight, and a lot of people were really happy about that.
That's strange.
I know. It's like, I guess he's a real visionary for that community,
I suppose.
I just thought that was interesting.
I was looking through the cast again in this movie. Fucking Sylvester Stallone's gonna be in this.
He's going to be...
it says he's been cast as a Nova Corps member.
That's exactly what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
Him and Brule are going to rule. Which
kind of makes sense. The Nova Corps guys, they kind of look like Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
A bit.
I am the law. I am the Nova Corps.
That terrible first Judge Dredd movie. Oh my God. Did you ever see the new Dredd?
I liked it.
I actually liked it too. It was pretty badass.
It was probably better than the original.
It was 100 times better than the original. I also really love the fact that, unlike a lot of other superhero movies, like...
What came first, Demolition Man or Judge Dredd? Because they felt very similar.
Demolition Man.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's what happened. They made Demolition Man. They're
Demolition Man.
And then we'll try to make Judge Dredd like this, but more serious. And it just didn't work.
Every time I think of Demolition Man, that's such a time capsule of the 90s. Fucking Wesley Snipes. I always think of Wesley Snipes and Taco Bell.
Yeah, well, what about the 3 seashells?
Or the 3 however the fuck those are supposed to work.
Those actors still get questions on the red carpet or during interviews. They're like, so how do you use the 3 seashells? How do you wash them off after you use them?
Holy shit. But yeah, the second Judge Dredd movie, what I loved about it, like I said, unlike a lot of other superhero movies, dude never takes off his helmet the entire movie.
Don't know what he looks like.
Never see his face. I don't know what it is about that, but it's great because it's just... It was ballsy, too, because that's the thing with a lot of these superhero movies, especially the characters that have masks and shit. They cast these big actors so that you can see the actors a lot of the time. And they're like, the logic is if they have the mask on the entire time, you're not really going to be able to appreciate those actors. Fuck that! I go to a Spider-Man movie to see Spider-Man, not to see Tom Holland for an hour and a half.
But he's so witty and his hair is so fluffy.
Who gives a fuck? I want to see Spider-Man.
His hair is so fluffy.
It's like, I want to see Batman. It's like, and that was one of my biggest issues with the first round of Spider-Man films. Is I swear to God,
Tobey Maguire.
Any opportunity that dude could take his mask off, he would do it.
Yeah, I mean the whole Venom fight was him with his mask off,
and it's just ugh. And half the time Venom's on screen, it's just fucking Eric Foreman.
Yep.
Topher Grace, who knows what the fuck's happened to his career lately.
I bet he's doing stuff.
I'm sure, maybe. I don't know if Spider-Man is what completely ruined it. Because the only other thing I can remember him being in was that Predator movie.
Oh, he was in the Predator movie?
most people forget that one even happened.
There's a Predator movie coming out.
Yeah, I know.
And an Aliens movie coming out.
Alien... I forgot. It's Alien Covenant. And what's, I think, the weirdest thing about it is that this movie is actually the sequel to Prometheus.
Oh, they're calling it Alien?
Yeah, like, it's funny because the whole point of Prometheus was like, we're trying to get away from the mythos of aliens, and then they're like, fuck it.
They're like, we're really fucked up not doing anything with aliens.
We're gonna have to connect it back some way. Predator. Yeah, Shane Black, that guy right there, who was also one of the characters from the first movie, he's also one of the writers. He's working on... he was one of the writers on the original Predator as well, so actor and writer. He's going to be working on the new movie.
The biggest Predator yet?
I don't know if big is the best way to go with it. What I loved most about the original Predator was the small setting, the fact that they're in this really isolated jungle.
Yeah.
You know, and just you never knew where the thing was going to be. I mean, the first Predator to me is still just an absolute classic.
I think
from beginning to end.
It's the only true Predator movie to me. I know there are other ones, and I know they did that other one where there were two different races of Predators that were fighting for dominance.
That was the one with Topher Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one he was in?
Yeah, he was technically, I guess you could call him a villain. I mean, he didn't really reveal his motives until, like, the last literal 3 minutes of the movie, because he's, like, a serial killer that they brought.
Okay, so they're talking about getting Arnold in the new Predator movie, but Arnold's, you know, I guess he's kind of past his prime, in my opinion, but they can always make him look cool if they give him... I don't see the reason
to bring Arnold back in. I think it's just too little too late on that front.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know, it's just going to be hard to really capture what made the first Predator so good anyway. I mean, it's just, it like you said, it's almost been impossible to really ever do it again.
They can't do it, because his point is, it's not about Predator running around a city and killing people. No. Even though the beginning to Predator 2 was real cool.
I'll say this, Predator 2's premise is I like the idea of it, because the first movie's in a jungle where there's only a few people and you're out in the middle of nowhere. And then
but that's also why it works.
Yeah, that's, you know, you got this thing that's hunting you down in the forest.
Yeah.
But then the city setting, it's like, it is interesting because it is like, it's an urban jungle. It's something completely different. But it also just, I don't know. It's hard to say, because the Predator himself is not an indiscriminate killing machine. It's not just like a serial killer in a slasher movie. It's like, oh, there's a person, I'm going to kill it. It does actually hunt people, and it has a reason for hunting people.
It wants a challenge.
Yeah, like there's a point in the film where it's like, it's about to kill this woman. It realizes she's pregnant, and then it lets her go.
Because it also, in the original Predator, it was looking at that chick, and then Arnold said, "Don't pick up that gun, because then it won't kill you, because it only wants a challenge."
Exactly. Like they have like this weird code or something, which is really the coolest thing about those movies.
Yeah,
they're really intelligent creatures. They're on the hunt, and they'll only do it if it's something that will test their abilities. And the second movie had the opportunity to do that. I still have a soft spot for the second movie, because I mean, fucking Gary Busey and.
What's that thing you always scream? Woo, butt nut or something? Or
oh, you're talking. Hey, let me look up this movie real quick. It's
Corey.
I'm your worst nightmare, butthorn.
Corey has a soft spot.
McBain, yeah.
McBain.
Let me see if I can find this movie. It's a movie that I didn't discover for years, with Gary Busey, who is playing basically this like secret agent. Let me see if I can find it. You can literally type in butthorn and it'll probably come up. Let's see. Yeah. You type in butthorn, it's the first video you find.
Butthorn?
Oh, shit. All right, okay. The name of the movie is Bulletproof. And it came out in the 80s. What I love about the scene, too, is that you also get a young Danny Trejo.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's the one who discovers them in the rafters.
It's like, they're like, look, we're going for a PG movie, so you can't swear. He's like, what about if I call him a butthorn? We're like, let's go with it.
The funny thing is, the movie is an R-rated film. It's just...
I'm your worst nightmare, motherfucker. Yeah. Like, I'm your worst nightmare.
You got Gary Busey just hanging out in the rafters like a goddamn gargoyle. And he's wearing a blazer. And I don't know why he's up there. It's just, it's hilarious. The movie also, you need to see it. It's bad, but it's so bad, it's pretty good.
My favorite thing I've recently thought was funny is Corey and both of us have been watching Narcos. And I love that Pablo Escobar's favorite outfit is like the dad sweater. Like that's like he's like a badass in a dad sweater the whole time. He if you ask me, he seems to get fatter throughout the series too. It's like the fat suit they put him in is like kind of bad. You can see it through the sweater.
It's to show, I think, like how opulent his life has become.
Yeah, because he has so much excess.
Yeah, and it's just like fuck it, you know.
Yeah, I'm just getting fat.
He can do what he wants.
He's like, I'm gonna get a dad bod or a dad sweater and run this shit. And no one says shit about it, you know? Yeah, so what the fuck were we talking about? Butthorn or something?
We were talking about a million fucking things.
All right, okay. Predator and Alien movie. Very excited about those two coming out. And the Alien,
but there's nothing we know about them yet.
No. They say Arnold's in talks, but whatever. You know?
I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Don't care.
No.
we talked about, well, we haven't talked about Spider-Man Homecoming yet.
No, we haven't. Which we are jumping the gun a little bit on this early. There's supposed to be a brand new teaser coming out for Spider-Man Homecoming tomorrow, but they've already released some promotional teasers for it because that's just the way they fucking do things now. They release a teaser the day before the trailer comes out. But it is cool because we got our very first shot from the movie, and it's basically just Tom Holland, Peter Parker, getting a brand new suit from Tony Stark delivered to him from Harry Hogan.
Tom Holland directed the first Iron Man movie.
Wait, what?
Isn't that the guy that walks in and says, "Hey, I got you a new suit"?
Oh, that's Jon Favreau.
Oh, Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
That he directed.
He's playing, I believe, Happy Hogan or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that guy.
He's like the personal assistant of Tony Stark.
Yeah, he directed the first Iron Man.
And we get to see. I'm guessing this is just an upgraded suit from the one that we saw in Avengers because it has the webbing, which is going down from the arms, kind of like the flying wings.
Yes.
Or the wingsuits, and it's not the first time that Spider-Man has actually had those before. It's actually a reference to the original Spider-Man comics, which were or known as the Ditko wings. Steve Ditko, he was the guy who drew them. If you could look up Spider-Man issue number 1, I don't even know if it's issue 1, but you'll see the image. It's pretty iconic. It's just Spider-Man swinging dead center. Let's go to images.
Let's see if we can find one.
There it is. Amazing Fantasy number 1.
The Chameleon Strikes.
Well, that's actually, that's the first issue of the Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay.
But you see that one at the very top? The second one?
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I almost didn't see those.
That's the most iconic cover for Spider-Man ever, and he definitely has the weird web wing things, which, sometimes they appear...
You just glide with them, though.
Yeah,
they don't actually, he has no rocket boosters or anything.
Which, honestly, I think does make sense. It allows them to fly around the city a little bit more. I also like that they're using it because it'll make this Spider-Man seem a little more distinctive from the other two. Because, we're already moving on to our third Spider-Man. It still blows my mind that we're doing that.
Yeah.
And that cover right there, the classic one, that's been recreated so many times in the comics.
I hope we also get the newest Spider-Man, or the Spider-Man that gets the tiny arms, like the little Doc Ock type version that Tony Stark makes. What's that called? Spider-Man with arms.
Wait, Spider-Man with arms?
With arms.
You mean 6-arm Spider-Man?
No. Not that one. I know what you're talking about. This is a version 2, but that's not the one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, I'm searching the wrong thing.
Wait, are you talking about the Iron Man spider suit?
Yeah.
It's possible. The fact that he has such a close... Yeah, you want that suit right there.
Yeah, I want that suit. The golden suit.
Seldom used in the comics, but still pretty awesome looking. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't show up. My guess is if they do decide to do something like that, they're going to save it for Infinity War. Because they're going to be like, look, we need your help, but we also need to give you a little extra firepower. Mr. Stark has created this brand new Iron Spider-Man suit for you. Oh, yeah,
this is it.
And boom, there it is.
Iron Spider armor.
Yeah.
It's cool looking, though. To me, that's the coolest version of Spider-Man, in my opinion.
I'm going to go with the classic black suit.
The black suit?
The black suit. Just
is that
classic. Actually hit back, where we're just looking at the old comic covers.
Okay.
And we were talking about how I was saying they recreated it. Go down a little bit. I think I saw it right there. You just hovered over it. Go
this
up.
One?
No, up. Right
that? There. I thought that was a Venom suit.
No. Well, it is the Venom suit, but it's it was the second costume that I ever used in the comics. And I don't know. It's simple, but damn, it's still awesome looking to me. I love the black Spider-Man suit.
Well, you're wrong, but you're allowed to have your opinion.
And I'm glad that we're getting a new Spider-Man because there is a potential we could finally see a new Venom, which I think would be really awesome. And what better way to introduce Venom into the MCU than with all these brand new movies that take place in space? We could fucking see the Venom symbiote in space. My personal theory has always been in the Infinity War movies, when they end up going to space, or if Thanos goes to Earth or whatever, some of the heroes are going to have to go up, and Spider-Man's going to go into space, and he's going to discover the symbiote suit, and it's going to attach itself to him, and that's where he'll get the black suit. Then he'll go back down to Earth. The next movie with Spider-Man will involve him succumbing to the darkness of the suit, and maybe we'll finally get to see another origin of Venom. And if they're smart, they'll be like, fuck it, we're throwing Carnage in too.
Because Carnage needs to go in. I think Venom is complemented by Carnage.
Yeah, and a lot of people say that Venom and Carnage are overrated relics of the 90s, but damn it, they are awesome.
Their design is just cool.
They're just awesome looking.
Yeah, I completely agree. I always thought this was one of the stupidest Spider-Man villains. The Condor.
Well, the Vulture?
The Vulture.
Well, you better get used to him. He's the villain of the first movie.
God, no.
Yep, he's being played by Batman himself, freaking Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton?
Yeah, Michael Keaton is... Have you not seen the concept art?
No.
Of he actually looks pretty cool.
Okay.
The only problem I have with it, it's like, yeah, it's cool that we're finally getting the Vulture in the Spider-Man movies, and when you see his costume and everything, it looks okay. Let me see. There it is.
Where?
Right there in the middle. Up. Right there. Yeah, that's...
Oh, well, he looks practically like Star-Lord in a green suit with wings.
He looks like Star-Lord mixed with Falcon.
Yeah.
Which is my only issue, because it's like, we already got a character with big mechanical wings and stuff, and he's a hero. And I was kind of hoping they would go with a different villain. Like, I was kind of hoping for Mysterio, or maybe even Scorpion, I think would be really cool. You know, just keep the whole bug thing going. But then again, that's kind of the whole point of Spider-Man villains. Like, 90% of them are, like, animal-based.
Uh-huh.
That's just kind of the thing. Spider-Man, you know, Dr. Octopus, the Scorpion, the Rhino.
Yeah.
You know, they're all like animal-themed type of villains.
That would have been good. John Malkovich.
A lot of people wanted Malkovich to play the Vulture for some reason. I don't really get it.
Yeah. I mean, Keaton can do it.
Yeah. I mean,
he was what was that movie he did? Birdman?
Yeah, it is ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any intentional reason behind any of that, but it is funny that is actually going to be a thing.
And he used to be Batman, and the movie was about him being an ex-superhero.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just all kind of falls into place.
Yeah.
And then he comes back.
But I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think they can make the Vulture awesome. I really do think it's possible. I've never really had a problem with the villain. He's never been my favorite, but I mean, still, I think it would be cool.
Scorpion,
like I said, would be pretty damn awesome. I don't know if they want to go... You know, there's only been so many instances when they do like the whole half-man, half-scorpion thing. Most of the time, it's just a suit.
Yeah.
Which, frankly, I think that's the way it needs to be. Just try to keep things as classic as possible. But, you know, update it so slightly.
Yeah. Okay, Spider-Man Homecoming, nothing really to know yet.
Yeah, just it was a teaser. You know, next week when we do the show, we'll talk about the trailer in full. Eagerly awaiting the release of that.
Tony Stark is involved. It will be cool.
Yeah, he might not even be in the movie. He might have a small cameo. It might just be that scene where he gives him the suit. You know, and that's about as far as it's going to go. Now, you want to talk about a shitty trailer.
Oh, God.
You want to talk about Transformers.
Oh, God.
Transformers The Last Fucking Night. Will these movies just fucking die already?
No, because people like them, Corey, and that's the problem.
I don't understand it, though. Like, how? How can they like these movies?
I love this one time. Like, let me get through. Is this an ad? Yeah, this is an ad.
Yeah, this is ugh. Entering the gates of hell where there's no Wi-Fi and no shows, a.k.a. grandmas. God, what a
shitty. Why would you be friends with your grandma on social media and then post that?
I hate that commercial. Have you seen that full commercial?
No, just parts of it.
It is awful. It's like Christmas has been saved by Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Anywho,
that's the last thing you need is to be on your fucking phone when you're with your family. You only see once a year.
Fucking dicks.
I know.
Anywho.
Okay. Look, we got Anthony Hopkins though doing voiceover.
What the fuck is Anthony Hopkins doing in this?
He's in between Westworld. Okay, he's like, I got to do something with technology.
I don't know. Maybe he's just getting old.
Listen to this. There's this line here that is such an Anthony Hopkins line. Listen to this.
It has been said through the ages.
Through the ages. For some reason, I was like, they wrote that line for Anthony Hopkins to say.
There's nothing even that deep on
without sacrifice.
You know what I'm sick of in the Transformers movies? How the Transformers have had, like, a hand in all of human history.
You know what I'm sick of?
Humans.
Explosions happening near people.
Look how many explosions there are. There's an explosion in modern times, Nazi Germany,
the Vikings, or whatever that was.
I mean, there are 3 massive explosions within the first, less than 30 seconds into the first trailer.
We got the cast of Stranger Things. These kids
discovering the Autobots. Yep. I'll tell you this much: I don't give a fuck about these humans anymore, man.
Does Bumblebee have dreads? Because it kind of
is that even Bumblebee in the first place?
Who knows? We're gonna give you a play-by-play. Okay, so they go underwater or space. I can't tell.
A lot of people have said that this is Unicron.
Okay, so it might be space.
Who is a giant, like planet-sized robot that eats other robots.
Did Optimus get kicked off the planet at the end of the last
That's
movie?
the thing. I couldn't tell you. I haven't watched
Me either.
The last
Help us out, guys. Comments below. I'm not looking it up.
But I've seen people talking about this trailer. People are saying that Unicron, if that is Unicron, is going to bring Optimus back to life and make him his bitch. Which that's not how things went back in the old day. It was Megatron. But they've clearly made a lot of changes to this shit. Mark Wahlberg. Hey, it's me, Mark Wahlberg. You guys want to see a new Transformers?
There's a Mark Wahlberg line that just sounds fakely Mark Wahlberg-esque.
That's right, Mark Wahlberg. It's Unicron. Everyone, look randomly into the sky at this CG bullshit. Look at that shit. We got Metal Gear.
Metal Gears, yeah. Oh, little girl that's badass.
Oh my god, don't care about the human characters at all.
Explosions everywhere.
God, seriously. It's got every...
I love this line. We're not giving up, okay?
It's funny. This might be one of the most stock trailers. Like
Screaming with water.
Look how many fucking explosions there are. Can't they just reboot this shit already? Look at this shit. He just fucking... Optimus Prime just power-bombed fucking Bumblebee. God, I wish I could care.
Let's just think about this, okay? Tell your mother I said, hey.
God, I really would.
There's like nothing in this trailer except slow motion shots of people screaming, explosions, and robots.
Yep. And we're complaining, people are complaining, and it's still going to make tons of fucking money.
Why does it have so many upvotes? What the fuck is going on here?
I don't know, man.
Let's see. I think this is help.
And it's a shame, too, because, like, years ago, like, when they first started this franchise, there was so much hope for it. Like, I remember when we walked out of the theater seeing the first Transformers, and we were like, that was really good.
Because it was new.
It was new, and we're like, there is so much potential for the rest of this. We just didn't expect that it was going to turn into the Shia LaBeouf show for 2 more movies, and then they were just going to abandon it and just trim the fat and give us all the bullshit no one cares about. But just, the human characters in these movies, man, they drive me up the damn wall. They're so unrealistic, and they're just boring, and no one gives a fuck about them. And to make matters worse, this shit ain't going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, this is just the main sequel. There's going to be a Bumblebee movie. Like, ugh.
There's a woman that looks like, what's her name? Jessica Fox?
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox,
yeah.
But is not Megan Fox.
Yep.
But she looks like Megan Fox.
Yeah, they have to have their fucking hot chick of the movie. That's how they do things.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It doesn't seem like the CG has evolved much.
You see how Prime has purple eyes?
Yeah, because he's all evil.
Yeah, okay. But here, if you look here, where is it? Look, I love how he has water when he spins in slow motion because the water has to come off his face to make it more dramatic. Here he has blue eyes. So he's good at some Prime.
He's probably going to be... This is probably the scene where he goes back to being normal Optimus Prime.
Yep, okay. Yeah. The eyes. They're the windows to the robot soul.
I guess.
Okay. Let's just be done with this. I'm done talking about Transformers.
I'm done talking about Transformers. Just,
close it.
Get rid of that bullshit. I've lost all sorts of faith in the Transformers franchise.
I feel like we're beating a dead horse talking about how much we don't like it. Like, I don't think I'm adding anything to that conversation.
Yeah. Just, fuck. Disappointment. Anywho, let's move on to the next topic. Something a lot more positive. 2017, I think, is going to be the most kick-ass year for anime. Just because there's a lot of new stuff coming out. There's a lot of great sequels. Just to name a few, freaking the second season of One Punch Man, Attack on Titan.
Those two make the year for me.
Really, they do.
Like,
those are going to be nuts.
That's great. Right there.
Then, like, just to top it all off, we have new Berserk coming. There's a new Evangelion movie coming. I don't know if you ever watched it, but there's a brand new sequel coming out to Code Geass.
I never saw Code Geass, but everyone since I've started following anime has mentioned it, so I know it's supposed to be good.
I mean, if there's ever a series that deserved a sequel, it's that right there. It's one of the few shows too. The first season is like 26 episodes. It's one of the few that I've watched in a single sitting. Think about that for a second.
I don't even know how to punch that.
It was when I was...
How long is each episode? Let's say 22 minutes?
Yeah, roughly. And I was watching it with...
How many episodes?
26, I believe, for the first season. And it was me, my friend Cody, and Ben. And we started at 8 in the morning. And we just watched everyone until like midnight.
Okay, it's like 572 minutes.
Yeah, we only stopped for bathroom breaks, and we already had food handy.
9.5 hours, Corey.
Yeah, it was pretty insane.
Think of how much more you could have done with your life.
I know. It was a cool way to spend a Saturday, though. We got steadily drunk as the day went on, and Cody, my friend Cody, had never watched it before, and it was his idea to do it because we watched the first couple, and he's like, I kind of want to keep going, and because it's such an engrossing series. It's a kind of a tactical espionage mecha series with a little bit of drama thrown in, but damn if it's not just.
But it's not about the mechs.
No, the mechs are there, and the mech suits are great, and the battle scenes are really cool and everything. But it really are the characters that make that show. It's just so damn engrossing, and I mean, just the whole point of it is it takes place in like this futuristic setting where basically the entire world has been subjugated by this force which is known as the Britannian Empire. Think of them as like the UK who never lost against the US. Just this super giant aristocratic force, and they subjugate all of these different countries, one of them of course being Japan, because this is an anime series. And one of the sons of the Britannian family gets separated from them, and he's basically cast out by his family, and he decides to get revenge against them, but he just doesn't have the ability to do that. And luckily he gets this mystical power that's been given to him by accident, which is called the Power of Geass, where you can basically look at someone directly in the eye and you can order them to do something, and they have to do it.
They just have to do it.
They just, no matter what. You can only ask them one type of question once, though. So, like, the first time he uses it, he gets these, like, group of soldiers to kill themselves. He says, I order you to kill yourselves. And they go, yes, sir! And then they put their guns right against their necks and just kill themselves immediately.
So, also, if he wanted to stop them, he couldn't.
Exactly. Well, I don't know if he could order them to be like, I order you not to kill yourself, but...
well, I thought he only gets to ask everyone one thing
I think it is only once.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there is a limit, and it's only once per person, and just... It leads to some really great scenes, and you can use that ability in a number of different ways as well. Like, there are ways to kind of abuse it and kind of triangulate it in a way. I don't want to give it away because I honestly think it is worth
like get hot chicks to do you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I guess you were thinking bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just it's fantastic, man. And it's just there's also a whole nother subplot about that character's friend who he grew up with, who's from Japan and everything, and he decides to join the Britannian forces, and he goes up against him directly. So there's tons of drama, there's lots of political intrigue, really great character designs, and just, it's enthralling from beginning to end. And the way the first season ends, you'll just be, there are 2 seasons, you'll be begging to watch the second season, and the second season is just as good too, and it has a solid conclusion, so I'm really interested to see what the third season is going to be like. But that's just one of the other many shows. There's also the second season of My Hero Academia, which is going to be starting up, which I loved the first season. A lot of people have begged me to look at the manga version, but whenever I have an opportunity to just watch the anime, I tend to go with that. That's why I've been watching nothing but JoJo and not even looking at the manga yet, because it's pretty clear they're just going to keep adapting it.
Yeah, why ruin it? I mean,
Exactly.
like, I can't wait for stuff. Once something ends and someone's like, you can read this. Like, as soon as I found out The Walking Dead was a comic book, I, like, got current immediately, you know?
Because I'm not going to lie either. Like, I love One Piece and everything, but I loved it a lot more when I didn't know it was going to happen.
I agree.
You know, like when I watched the anime and I was just like, holy like when I started watching the Dressrosa arc for the first time, I was just amazed by everything going on. And then when I finally caught up, I was like, okay, now we're just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah. It does take away from it. I agree. I agree from that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like if all the stuff going on right now in the One Piece series, like with Sanji and everything, like that shit would be blowing my mind if I didn't know it was going to happen already.
I agree. That would be much crazier. Okay, what's some like lesser known stuff that's coming out next year that you're kind of interested in? You know, One Punch Man 2, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1, you know, easy.
Yeah.
Easy, awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Most
everything though is going to be a sequel.
Okay, that's true.
Full
Metal Panic,
Full Metal Panic Part 4 is something that I'm really looking forward to. It's another mecha series. I actually do have it on Blu-ray and DVD. It's but there hasn't been a sequel for it in years, and they're finally making a sequel for that one, which is more than worth checking out.
What about High School Scoregirl?
I don't know if I'm going to be checking out that one.
Okay.
I don't know about that one. I mean, it can't be any worse than Keijo.
Is Keijo the boob ass fighting show?
Yes, it is.
You're down with the second
Keijo
season.
is the best worst anime that I've ever seen, though. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really bad show, but it's still good at the same time. It is hard to describe.
It's kind of like they took every stereotypical thing about anime and then combined it, but made it good.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still bad, though. Like,
oh, yeah.
I mean, it is bad. Like, it's just such a stupid fucking premise. but everything else is done so right, and the animation is surprisingly decent a lot of the time, and the action scenes, as fucking crazy as they are thrilling. I am not going to lie. But, yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the fan service. I don't know. They're so unabashed about it, too. Like, a lot of other shows can try to hide that shit a little bit. No, they're just like, here it is, TNA, all up in that grill. How did the camera get to the tank? We don't know. Here it is.
We don't know how to get it in there, so we're just going to do it. You know?
They do things that normal cameras cannot.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then I watch that show with my friend Ben, like, every week now, and we have, like, a little anime night, like, every week where we just get drunk and watch anime, and without a doubt, that's his favorite show every week now. I mean, he gets loud and boisterous when he watches that show. It is hilarious.
I'm good.
Oh, that is alright. I didn't need to look up at the screen when I saw that.
Anyway, so new anime, it's going to be good. And the stuff we don't know about that's going to be good is because it's probably new. So we got to wait for it to come out.
But I mean, it's all going to start trickling out next year, and there's just... I do think it's going to be one of the strongest years. Most of it is sequels, yes, but I mean, all these shows are top-notch. I hope that Berserk can sort of rectify everything it did with the first season. I hope they're going to actually take a step back and be like, look, a lot of people didn't like a lot of the CG. We need to pump the brakes a little bit on that and give something a little more traditional.
That's not that hard to do.
No.
Why is that hard to do?
I don't know. I really hope they backpedal a little bit on that, because... It wasn't a perfect adaptation, but it was still entertaining, and there were still a lot of scenes that I really liked, but fuck, they need to make some changes if they want to bring people back on board. If anything, we'll get to see the Berserker armor.
That better happen. If that takes till season 3, I'll be pissed.
Yeah. I mean, they have to get through it. There's no way they can't, unless they're just like, I don't know, because I didn't expect that first season was only going to be 12 episodes. I thought we were going through a full 26, and I thought they'd be like, oh, no problem, we're definitely going to get to that shit, so we'll get to see here. This could be like their final chance to sort of like tell people, all right, this is your opportunity. If you want this Berserk anime to happen, you guys need to check this shit out.
Yeah.
So hopefully it works.
I was very sad when you were telling me that the fan base thought that show sucked, because I was like, I'm so excited about new Berserk anime. Like, how could you... I was blinded by my fanboyness to even get upset about it being bad.
I mean, people were pissed off.
I believe it.
I mean, some of the comments were just... People were seething with rage just from what they have done with that. I mean, I'd say 90% of the reviews on YouTube and elsewhere were just like, fuck this animation style. And I mean, I was just trying to be as open-minded about it as I can, but even I have to admit, there were just some scenes where some characters just looked like goddamn Muppets, and it looked terrible.
I agree. There were parts that looked bad.
They need to get rid of that shit. Honestly, it would just work fine if it was normally animated.
We'll see what's up.
Yeah.
We'll see what's up. Oh, man. New anime. So much. It's like it ramps up every year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought this year was okay at best.
I didn't mean the quality or the stuff gets better every year. It's just the amount of it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes there can be an oversaturation of it. And I think this year has had some pretty good stuff, but I don't know. It still left me wanting a little bit more.
Corey could always use more anime butt fights.
I don't know about that. let's just get through this first season of Keijo already.
Oh, you should do a series review. I
actually, I'll go ahead and say it. I am planning on doing a Keijo video, and I am going to call it like Keijo is the best worst anime I've ever seen. And I am going to sort of highlight it, but I want to get through the season first. I want to do like a full comprehensive review of it.
Just in case there's like some dark mask butt fighter?
Because there's just dark mask butt fighter. I want to get through it. I just want to see what it has to offer. And also just there's no way I want to talk about this show on a weekly basis. I couldn't do it.
So Sarah defeated Rebecca with her ass this week, guys. It was great.
Sarah defeated Rebecca.
And then Rebecca wasn't having any of that shit, and she titty slapped her. And, and then their team won.
You're not too far off.
I know. That's the problem.
No, they actually do have, like, special attacks and shit. Like the vacuum butt cannon.
I don't even want to know what that smells like.
It's fun to say that out loud, too, the vacuum butt cannon.
No, it's not, Corey.
Yeah, it is.
It's gross. I don't get grossed out easy. Okay, guys. So, we still could talk about Rogue One, or we could wrap it up. You tell me.
Let's talk about Rogue One for just a second.
Okay.
We're about 1 week away from Star Wars Rogue One, and I'm fucking super pumped up. I'm still trying to determine if I'm going to see it midnight or if I'm just going to see it the next day, because this is a movie that I really want to be awake for and really pumped up for. I don't know as much about Rogue One as I knew about Force Awakens before it came out, because I haven't been trying to watch too much of the promotional material. I watched a brand new trailer that they had today. It was an international one. It definitely had a lot of cool shots in it, especially with the stormtroopers. But still, there's so much unknown about what this movie is going to do. And what I think I love most about this one is I think it's got a lot of non-Star Wars fans like really pumped up for it.
Because it just looks like a really good movie with a great story.
Exactly. It's got no... I mean, it has connections to the other Star Wars movies. Like, this is clearly a prequel to the originals, and it's all about, like, getting the plans for the Death Star. But the Death Star is simply just a backdrop for the film. I mean, my friend Ben, he's really jaded about it in some sense. He's like, oh, great, another movie that involves a giant fucking spherical thing that can destroy planets. But the fact of the matter is, we're probably not even going to see... I doubt we're even going to see the Death Star even fire its laser in the movie. The only reason I say that is because they're technically testing it out for the very first time in the original Star Wars movie. They make mention of that. So this is more going to be about the construction and the final puzzle pieces that make up the Death Star, and then just trying to figure out, like, what the fuck is this thing? But since it has no, like, connection to some of the other characters, the Jedi, the Skywalkers, none of that shit, and it's just a bunch of new characters, a lot of people are going to be able to get on board for this and basically just accept it as kind of like this big space opera war movie.
Do you think it's obvious that all these characters die at the end of the movie?
Yeah. The only reason I say that is because, the Star Wars series loves to use its mythology and reuse its characters a lot, and we see no mention of any of the Rogue One team. Honestly, if they
maybe they could just head off into the space sunset, and that's that.
Maybe, but I just don't see it happening.
Maybe they all get killed by Vader, and it's a badass scene.
That was one of my biggest theories, because Vader is going to be in this movie, which is a huge fucking deal. Voiced by James Earl Jones. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd ever see a new Star Wars movie with Darth Vader in it, like played by the original actor and everything, or voiced by anyway. But he's still probably only going to have a very small role, small presence, just there, just for the atmosphere. But if they really want to create a really great set piece for the end of the movie, they need to make it where the Rogue One team has just gotten the Death Star plans. They have a team that's getting ready to send that information to the rebels and give it off to the ship. And as they're trying to escape, Darth Vader just comes out, uses his force powers to just completely wreck and destroy all of them.
That's most likely what's going to happen.
Yeah, that would be so awesome. Or I just want a scene of, Darth Vader using the power of the Force to, take down some X-Wings and just, destroy them all in his wake. Maybe use his lightsaber in a cool way. Because I'd like the character to do more than just stand around and be awesome. Which, I'll be happy with just that. I really will. Just the fact that I am seeing this version of Darth Vader makes me really excited, but I really want to see something we've never seen the character do before, and this will be a perfect opportunity to make that happen. But I'm just as interested in all of the new characters. My favorite character is the new droid, K2SO, who is just... he's got such dry wit, and I know that's so does C-3PO, but unlike C-3PO, K2SO is not a bitch. He is a badass Imperial assassin droid, and just... You get to see a lot of shots in some of the trailers of him taking out troopers with no prejudice whatsoever. He's completely emotionless and just seems like he's going to be a fun character. I forgot the name of the character, but the blind guy. He just seems like he's just going to be... I guarantee he's going to be one of the most popular characters from the movie.
I call him Ip Man, because he's the same guy that did all those Ip Man movies, which are great, by the way. And the third one, he fights Mike Tyson, which makes no sense, but whatever. We don't get into that.
I need to see that.
Yeah, that fight scene is awesome.
That sounds awesome.
I think it's Ip Man, IP space MAN versus Mike Tyson.
Oh my god.
It's in the third one. Mike Tyson's running some underground gang, and then he eventually has to get there. And they fight, and they both have
the actor's name is Donnie Yen, and God, he plays a character's name who I can't even pronounce it because it's Star Wars. Chirrut Imwe, because you got to have weird names in Star Wars.
That's still sort of Asian-y, though.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he's definitely taking a lot of inspiration from that. I mean, but Jyn Erso, Cassian Andor, Orson Krennic, Chirrut Imwe, Galen Erso, K2SO, Baz Malbus, Saw Gerrera. It's Forrest Whitaker's character, who is actually a character from the Star Wars Clone Wars series. So they're incorporating people from the Clone Wars TV show as well, which I think is really awesome. I would love to see some Star Wars Rebels characters show up, which I think would be great because it makes sense. It kind of takes place around the same time frame, even if they're not even in it. Like, let's just mention the Ghost Crew or something, or vice versa. I just think that would be really cool. Just continue to bring this universe even closer together.
We'll see.
We will. I'm pumped. I mean, it's definitely the movie I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, I think that is our conclusion to this podcast, guys.
Yes, we have reached conclusions.
We have reached conclusions, and you guys have made it through another one. We rocked it out this time. This is a good podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Mm-hmm. Very, very pumped. Corey, you want to take us out with your little lineage?
Of course, of course. Thank you guys so much for watching the show today. I would just like to take a moment to thank Rogue Intel, our amazing network, for making this show possible. Thanks to them, we are able to say what we want and do what we want, and I would highly recommend that you support them out by going to rogueintel.com/Amazon for all of your shopping needs. The holiday season is coming up, so that would be the perfect opportunity to do it. Not only would you be saving money, but you will actually be supporting the network and all of its shows. So make sure to check that out. Remember, you can check out the video version of our show on YouTube, but you can also listen to it at Rogue Intel. You can download the show for free at iTunes. Make sure to leave us your comments, your questions, and any topic ideas that you guys would like us to talk about. And I think that concludes today's show.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. If it wasn't for you, we'd just be talking on microphones in a room for nobody.
Yep.
So thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time, the Powerful Nerdcast is out.